One of the most satisfying elements of the work we do with Jinfo clients is the opportunity to help information managers grow into information leaders. Today I want to give you a few examples of the differences between management and leadership and how we've seen some of our clients grow into those differences. Information managers respond to user needs. Information leaders advise stakeholders on what the business needs. So there's one client that we're working with, a team of two, that are very used to being extremely responsive to user needs. And when we first started talking with them about what their plans were for 2022 and how they were going to engage with their audiences broadly, they talked a lot about reaching out to different users and making sure they had training, etc. What we pulled them back towards is recognizing that actually one of the first elements they need to do before they even start to talk to the users is engaging directly with the more senior level stakeholders who are probably not the ones who are directly using the information products, but to get a better understanding of what their business objectives are so that our team of two could give them advice on the best way to achieve those objectives, and then make sure that that was built into how they were empowering end users. This has been a very effective flip in how they work with stakeholders, and it's now broadened their understanding from simply being responsive to user needs, which is still important, to pitching themselves at that higher level and working with stakeholders on the business overall. Information managers focus on what? Information leaders focus on why. This is a client that we've been working with for about 3 years now. And one of their main challenges that they started out with was the fact that they had lots of different stakeholders in the budget approval process for content. And they spent a lot of time every year revisiting the same $1,000, $3,000, $15,000 in the budget without making a huge amount of progress. It was a waste of everyone's time, and she's frustrated, and even her managers were frustrated. What we got them to understand through some work that we did with the client is that instead of focusing on what, which was the budget number and the amount and perhaps the number of seats, etc., they really needed to look at why. And once they were able to have a much more strategic conversation about why they were collectively choosing to invest in certain kinds of information products, it was much easier to come to a final decision that everyone could live with as to what they should be investing in those products. So that shift from what to why was a really helpful element of enabling this client to change the whole nature of that budget conversation every year, which has been a huge boon, and everyone's much happier with it. Information managers deliver great services. Information leaders design, manage, and evaluate the impact of great information services. This is another client that we work with who's a team of about 6, and they work in the pharmaceutical industry. They've been very successful over the years, but they've been doing a lot of the same things for the same way over a very long period of time. When we first started working together in 2021, we spent some time talking about why they were doing the kinds of work they were doing and looking at the effectiveness of those services overall. Now, the services themselves were no doubt effective. The users loved them, the right products in the right way. But what the team lacked was an opportunity and a way of measuring whether or not those services were actually enabling the business to achieve its goals. So we built a management layer into how they were going to look at those services strategically and say, you know what, if the goals of the business are to foster innovation, can we say that the services that we're delivering and the way we're delivering them are achieving that goal? And that's been a huge success for them in enabling them to shift from doers to strategic thinkers. Managers make sure that their departments are doing things right. Information leaders make sure that they are doing the right things. This is something we see again and again. It's actually very similar to the last example, where instead of just looking at, are we operating effectively? Are we operating efficiently? Are we using our skills? Raising that up a level to say, you know, what should the things be that we're doing? And actually having the courage sometimes to say, we're stopping something. We're going to stop doing certain things that made sense at one point, but no longer do. And that shift of being able to say, not just we're running effectively, but we're doing the right things and be able to justify that to their stakeholders has been a huge element of moving them into a leadership role. When we work with clients, we guide, mentor, and coach them to grow from great information managers into effective and influential information leaders. We also foster a peer network of information leaders who meet in our community sessions to connect, learn from, and encourage one another. If you want to know more, I encourage you to visit www.jinfo.com, and while there, to register for our free twice-monthly newsletter and get the latest examples and tips for leadership in your inbox. The best organizations include information strategy at the heart of the business, but they need information leaders to make it happen. And you're the one with the knowledge to do it. I encourage you to stay in touch by subscribing to our channel and adding your thoughts in the comments. Thank you.